World Championship Series, as we are currently getting into some awesome StarCraft action here, as we're going to be heading into quite a different series. We've seen a lot of TvZ so far during the day, but now we are moving into some lovely more action here, and we're going to be seeing from a Protoss. We're going to be seeing from Lilbow, who I'm sure you know plenty about here, Tom.
Yes. Lilbow is really good in Protoss vs Zerg. He already had a very strong performance in the round of 32 against Hydra, beating him very, very convincingly. I mean, Hydra said himself he thought it wasn't his best games, but still, being able to beat a guy like this, I don't think we can look at Lilbow in this match as being anything else than an overwhelming favorite. Can we?
Yeah. I mean, even in the group as a whole, I believe that he's got a really good shot here going through Group C, because it's a group that is an amalgamation of a lot of different nations that don't necessarily play against one another, but Lilbow, for me, sits at the very, very top of the potential that could actually come out from here. He's got a really, really good shot to do well in this group, I feel.
How are we going to say iAsonu?
IA.
You know the perfect way? Is that the perfect way to say it?
I mean, the perfect way to say his full name, I assume, is iAsonu. No, I can't do it. I actually can't do it. I tried to practice before, but here he is on screen here. iAsonu. I can't do it.
I think I heard something like he wanted people, or like I think he said it was okay to say IA. So
yes,
maybe we just say IA.
iAsonu.
Okay, the thing about him is that we don't really know him too much. You know, he's for me like definitely one of the newer players that we have here in WCS.
Yeah.
But see, I mean, if he made it here, surely like he must be pretty damn good at StarCraft, and he's beaten some good players before. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he can do here against the French powerhouse in Lilbow.
Yeah, and IA, I mean, we've seen him in previous seasons as well here, as we have even some fans here from him, from the Chinese scene, rooting for him to go far, because he is the sole representative of China in the round of 16 moving forward. So he carries the weight of a nation pretty much on his shoulders moving through in a pretty tough group, I would say.
It's interesting to note, like he's the only Chinese player here, whereas like in the past it's mostly been about guys like Jim, Shigua, Tudming. So definitely a very strong country, I would say, in StarCraft 2 as well, China.
And then, of course, we have his opponent. It is Lilbow, who in the European scene has become quite the terror. And we saw him advance forwards in the round of 32 in first place. And I believe that was defeating Hydra, correct? Which was a brilliant result for him. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
he played really, really very impressively back then. I really felt like he finally, was playing up to his full potential, just like he does a lot of the time online, but doesn't always do in offline tournaments. So that was pretty cool to see, but it needs to continue here for him to be able to secure a win in this match here.
And now taking a look at the maps, we see that Expedition Lost will be the start, Cactus Valley, and Varney Research Station if we need them. Are there any particular surprises there in the vetoes, Todd, for you as you look at them for this match?
Picking Cactus Valley over Varney, I'm a little bit surprised, but Lilbow has actually always been one of those guys that adjusts very well to the maps. And I remember there was actually like a few times there was like, maps that weren't particularly favorable to Protoss in the map pool. And it would just be like, well, on this map, Protoss is not very good, but since it's a 4-players map, I'm just going to have 7 gates.
Yeah.
And like since I guess everybody vetoes that map, my opponent's not going to be ready because they're not used of countering 7 gates on this kind of map and, playground. And it worked a lot of the time back then already. So maybe we're going to see something like that here out of him, or some very, very strong aggression. Expedition's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, I would say so as well. It's not exactly the most amazing map here for our Protoss, but so to start out on this map, looks like we are loaded up and getting good to go into game number 1, as we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner. Of course, it is our sole Chinese representative. It is IA, looking to cause upsets here in this group, in Group C, as he goes up against possibly one of the most fearsome opponents that he could in WCS in Season 2. He's got quite the reputation behind him. It is Lilbow representing Team Millennium. And, well, a lot of people are looking to him and TLO as some of the big favorites here in Group C.
In StarCraft, there's a lot of very hard workers out there. A lot of pro gamers dedicate so much of their time in becoming really good at this game. And Lilbow is one of them. He's one of those guys who, to me, was always bound to achieve greatness, but never really did just yet.
Yeah.
So here in this tournament, I think he definitely has a shot. Like, he's going to this group as one of the favorites, as we mentioned. He could go very far, but he's going to take, you know, a solid way here against iAsonu to be able to achieve that. And, I mean, he needs to, I guess, use his main go-to builds that he's really good at, because if he tries to get a little bit too fancy here and there, it's not always going to go well. And we've seen, I mean, how, you know, taking risks here and there at times can really backfire very quickly. Whereas iAsonu, I'm really not sure what he's expecting here out of himself in this tournament, you know. Going into a group like this. Definitely, probably wasn't too unhappy with the fact that there's no Corinne in it.
Maybe, yeah. That was probably something that is giving a little bit of peace. But he's one of the players that I would say you and I get very rare opportunities of actually seeing. You know, being in the European, I've seen ourselves. Every time he's played in the WCS in the past, it's either been on the American stage or in some of their groups. So, of course, we've seen a few of his games here from the round of 32. But he's a bit of an enigma in that case.
Yeah, he made it out of a pretty tough group, to be honest. There was Harstem and Xenocider in there, and definitely a, you know, a nice group to come out of. But now, round of 16, it definitely gets a little bit harder. And again, even though there's no Corinne in his group here, he's going to have to put in some serious work if he wants to be able to do well. So far, nothing too surprising. You know, Lilbow is one of those guys that really likes to open, you know, the standard gateway gas score like this, you know, go into a Nexus, drop down a few additional gates, and then decide how aggressive he wants to be with this. So we'll see in a moment here exactly how aggressive he wants to be, whereas iAsonu, no gas just yet, you know, it's just been hatchery, pull, and I guess it's going to be a lot of drones for now.
And now, for Lilbow, is there anything that he really needs to do other than stick on 2 base like he usually does and then just make his options from there? I mean, a 3rd base on this map can oftentimes just be suicide early on.
It's really, really tough to take a 3rd base, and Lilbow is very, very good at executing those 2 base all-in or timings. So this is kind of what I expect here out of him. Maybe something like a 4 or 5 gate, like big pressure, maybe an Immortal all-in follow-up, or even like a 7 gates. Something like that could do very well if executed well enough.
We're already seeing here move on down to the 3rd base. He's already got his spawning pool up and running now with the Queens on the way. But just playing to the fact that Lilbow, you know, it's a bit more of a slower opening. Although that being said, a 2nd gateway and 3rd are being added on at the front.
Yeah, that's standard. Yeah. As long as he doesn't add anymore, that's really, really standard. He can still be aggressive with this. He's getting the sentry behind this. That's going to wall off his I guess his wall-in and ramp. And we see the pro moving across the map. The good position here to plant down a pylon if you want to go for some aggression is around the gold base in the middle, because then you can warp down there. Actually, he's going to bring it even closer than that. So he's still making probes right now. That's not like super all-in. He might just be doing this to try and force as many links out as possible. And then behind is, you know, be ahead economically and then do whatever he wants to from there.
Really bringing the fight to him. He actually spots this finally now with from the high ground. And
the Roach Warren is not that fast, but I think fast enough that he's going to be able to get Roaches to defend against the Zealots.
Yeah, he should be fine. He should be okay. A Lilbow here. I mean, applying this pressure, as you said, just forcing out some units should be okay. Pros are still churning out at the back. Zealot full warp in here. And maybe he can just deny some of this creep, which he already gets one of the creep tumor kills. Marching up into the natural. Does he swing to the 3rd, or does he just completely give up from this point?
I think he needs to cover his pylon and like keep on warping in units to force units out of iAsonu. At this point, you know, Lilbow is making 2 probes by 2. He's trying to basically get ahead as much as possible. Economically, he's on 30 probes against 31 drones right now, so he will be pretty happy, you know, with keeping up with these numbers from the Zerg. And he should definitely pull back here against this many Roaches, but he looks like he wants to go for the fight anyway, sending only one of the Zealots on the drones.
Wow, actually that time warp's brilliant. He's not only pinned those units in, but the only way out is through the time warp. He's doing quite a bit of damage here in the drone line with 1 or 2 Zealots being split off from that. And the Zealots at the ramp are actually buying great time for the damage to be done in the mineral line.
Yeah, he always knew that those Zealots weren't going to break his opponents, but killing 5 drones, maybe a 6th one.
Wow.
Definitely one of the nice things. So forcing units wasn't even like that good for him. He wanted to actually weaken his opponent's economy even more than that. So now he's warping the Stalkers behind. He's fully knowing that he already killed a bunch of the drones and some of the Roaches, and he knows that behind this, it's going to be very hard for iAsonu to keep on making units, because then he has too few drones. But then if he makes drones, he's not going to have enough units. So look at this. Just like I told you, a 2-base play here on a map where it can be really hard to take a 3rd base, and the execution so far has been pretty insane here out of Lilbow.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but he didn't necessarily need to commit to these extra gateways, but seeing the damage he did there, like, it's just the response. Like, well, I've done so much, may as well just try and kill this guy now because I know how much state he's going to be in. iAsonu
is getting so many roaches, though.
Yeah.
Even though I thought it was a really good choice here by Lilbow to go for this. Look, he's cut pro production now. He's only on 1 single gas.
Oh, might try and
this
supply
needs
block him.
to work. This needs to do a lot of damage here. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for Lilbow to win this. But actually, I'm really surprised he didn't take more gases, because imagine if he had 2 more, he could warp in sentries and then force field that ramp here. Instead of that, he's warping in a lot of stalkers and then zealots in addition when he runs out of gas. Does he have a time warp?
He's barely actually in terms of the energy. Just now pops up, and he will be able to actually time warp these units as he's going to chase back all of these roaches. They don't have the clear reconstitution at all, and the drones come off the line here to actually combat against the stalkers. He doesn't have that many links to go for the wraparound, so he has to use those for the defense. But as all of this is going on, the stalkers are getting a great trade-off against this with extra zealots on the way.
Yeah, 6 drones died now, 38 probes against 32 drones. Lilbow is kiting his way out of here. He's swapping in even more zealots to reinforce. He's going to be able to snipe whatever's at the 3rd base, which I don't think is much.
Just
there was like 1 drone or 2.
And I felt that he could come in here and sandwich some of these units with the zealots on the left-hand side. If these roaches really overstep their mark, the 2 up towards the top are sacrificed. Stalkers trying to micro back against it. They don't have many zealots to buffer, but here come the extra zealots. Oh, and the sentry actually coming along. It had full energy because it was the defensive sentry. Guardian Shield, Force Field pins these in. Beautiful execution here by Lilbow, and he has absolutely torn this apart. Drones come off the line, but he has so much army supply here, does Lilbow, to be able to take this. And he's barely lost anything. Another pivotal force field will be able to seal the deal here. And IA, unfortunately, in this first game, really never gained traction. GG, game number 1 goes to Lilbow.
Excellent execution here out of the, I don't even know how many gates was it, was 7 or something? Like
by
he
the
opened.
end,
Yeah, he added quite a few ones. Very, very good execution. And good choice of build. I don't think it didn't look like iAsonu was really prepared for that, to be honest. Like, he was getting the roach run, but in terms of like pure defense and how much he kited and like he didn't really evacuate the natural with the drones, didn't really seem to have faced that all often before that he was comfortable in holding it. Took a lot of damage, and in the end, you know, you kill a few drones here and there as Protoss. You know that behind this you have a stronger economy. You keep on warping in units. It just worked out nicely. iAsonu never really was able to, I guess, get the critical mass of roaches that you need to be able to hold this well. So, good execution, really.
Yeah, really good. A good opportunistic play.
I should 7-gate more.
Yeah, man. Over quick as a flash. You just 7-gate, win some money. All good, all good. But that is game number 1 done pretty quick there for Lilbow. Obviously, we had our 2 previous Frenchmen on here on this stage before in Marine Lord and Firecake.
The grudge match.
The grudge match, and oh boy it was with those games. Lilbow completes that trifecta of French power that we're seeing here in WCS at the moment. So the French even, I should say. I guess we could call it a quad with you here as well.
The 3 Musketeers.
And what are you?
No one.
No one?
I'm a caster, man.
Oh.
I'm the king.
Oh, okay. You tell them what to do, I guess. Yeah. All right. Well, Cactus Valley will be our game at number 2 map here. And at the moment, Lilbow looking to power on with his French brethren just alike. Game number 2 line loaded up as we have 1-0 lead here for Lilbow. And we do have him spawning up to the top left-hand corner. It is our red Protoss. It is Lilbow representing Team Millennium. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg, the only representative here for China in the round of 16. It is IA, even I should say. A name always trips me up. Even if it's just 2 letters, it still trips me up.
Yeah, I mean, in the previous game, I don't think he made any like build order big mistake or anything like that. It was really, you know, just in the defense itself of what was being thrown at him. They struggled and ended up dying, basically. Now, Cactus Valley, picking Cactus Valley over Vani here for Lilbow, something's up. Something's up no matter what. He might just go for the same thing.
Yeah, maybe.
He might just be in a rush, you know, like he just wants to finish it quick, like go for like a lot of gateways, another something like a 7 gates, and then end it quick, move on to the next match. Because I don't think you really pick this match if you want to play like a longer, you know, standard macro game. Taking your 3rd base, you know, I don't think it's the hardest map for it, but when you're gonna have to defend against something like Mutas later on, or multi-pronged attack, or a Zerg that's like expanding a lot, I guess maybe like if you wanted to play with like a third base, a lot of Blink Stalkers, and then do a timing, that could work. That actually could work.
Okay. Well, let's see how IA is going to be able to respond to Lilbow here, because that one kind of blindsided him, basically. As much as he did anticipate the 3-gate kind of power coming along, unfortunately for him, did a little bit. The follow-up was very, very difficult to deal with as well. So at least he gets himself a good scout to start things off. Will be able to spot his opponent early on and see the fact that it is pylon on the high ground, so knows that his opponent has opened with a gateway start.
Yeah, I don't think too many Zergs are still very used of playing against this opener, because Protosses, they've been doing a lot more, you know, Forge openers, Nexus first into Gateway, or sometimes even just Gate, no gas, Nexus. So it's kind of funny how, like, you know, the metagame has shifted away from this opener here from Lilbow that we're seeing right now, which used to be the standard.
Yeah.
And it almost feels as if Zergs, they've kind of, you know, lost track of how to exactly play against this early on. One of the things that you need to know about this kind of gateway opener is that for the longest time, every Zerg, their priority when they saw that it was a gateway, like a quick gateway opener, getting speed was #1 priority. What did we not see last game?
That's true.
We didn't see speed. He tried to take a third base anyway, fully knowing that it was a gateway expand, probably into more gateways. So iAsonu, build order-wise, I don't think it was like super, super bad, but definitely wasn't good and didn't help that he wasn't going for speed. And look at this. In this game, he's corrected that already very nicely. He's getting speed here.
Yeah, good reactions, really. The probe is actually moving out after throwing a pylon down at the front, and eventually he should be able to spot his opponent pretty quickly. Although he's left out on patrol at the front just to make sure that nothing crazy is going on.
Yeah, that's really good. You know, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't do that, and then all of a sudden you're Zealot surrounded by Lynx, and you might as well leave, or you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Probe's going to move out to the right-hand side.
3 more gates.
Oh, okay. We're back to Sand style from 2014. True aggression here. Also Chrono Boost into the Warp Gate as well. So there's going to be a lot of Zealots hitting this soon. iAsonu, he has a third base on the way. A few links sprinkled in. He needs to find pylons.
That's Lilbow's first scout, right? Yeah.
Yes.
He's going to see it. Just on time. Gets out of here.
He needs to find pylons. He needs to know that this probe, yes, has escaped, and then from that point on, anticipate pylons going down.
What did iAsonu see? It's his overlords. He didn't see much. Oh my god.
Or at least he's found this pylon.
Yeah, I think right now he's going to realize very quickly what's happening. We see already 8 links in the production tab. Metabolic Boost is about to finish, and he needs to make a lot of Zerglings if he wants to be able to hold this comfortably.
Technically, he can warp in very soon here. This Zealot actually does get surrounded, yes, but this pylon hasn't taken too much damage. Now that the Link's being able to clean that up, he's actually going to try and warp in. It's a race against the clock, and then he's been able to defend this pylon. Even the Sentry warping in here for Lilbow, he might just go on the counter with these Zerglings.
Yeah, Lilbow is still making probes here right now. He needs to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked. He's going to start pulling ahead in economy. Look at this, 28 probes to 24. 28 probes to 24 drones right now. So he's already pulling ahead on this. And iAsonu is struggling to get drones and enough units to defend at the same time.
Yeah.
This is Sand style played very, very well here by Lilbow. Yeah. Especially since we don't really see that anymore. He's really mastered that style so far from what I can see here.
And the problem is that as the more units he warps in, the less room he really has to squeeze drones in. He's trying to get a few out with the Roach Warrant as well. Spinecrawler has finished up here at the front, but when so many Zealots get warped in, you've got to be so fearful for your life here.
That's actually, I feel like iAsonu didn't react properly because he revealed speed very quickly. He tried to go for the pylon, even though like against a good Protoss, you're never going to snipe that pylon. He's always going to be able to warp in on time. So imagine if he had hidden his units and then he waited until the first set of Zealots got here. He could have killed the first set of Zealot and then have defended very easily. But now look at how many Zealots there are. There are so many of them.
He uprooted the spine. The Spinecrawler isn't doing any damage here. It might actually die itself. He's killing a lot of the Zerglings against that one Force Field. Now the Force Field's going to go down, pinning the Zerglings from actually being able to get out. Some Roaches are in production here for iAsonu, but can he even get them up? The Spinecrawler's fallen as well. There's so many Zealots here for Lilbow, who is looking for a record finish here in this round of 16 game. Whole position on the drones as well, but there's so many Zealots.
Army supply 36 to 23. That is so many Zealots. Even the Sentries helping with the Force Fields and just attacking themselves. Everything's dying. 9 drones already fell. For iAsonu here, he doesn't seem to have an idea on how to counter this.
Oh, he had a force field if he wanted it on the ramp to be able to deal with it. He's lost 40 Zerglings for the cost of just 4 Zealots here. And this is just spiraling out of control. So many drones have died off. Resources lost 500 against 2,900. And unfortunately for iAsonu, he's ran up against the Lilbow wall. And GG, swift 2-0 there for Lilbow, who a lot of people are touting as one of the favorites of this group.
Yeah, and it definitely proved true here in this first series here in this group, and some pretty cool play here out of him, some very, very big aggression, and I mean, I can't really blame him. Cactus Valley and Expedition Lost, definitely one of the harder maps to take a third base and play macro on, so
yeah.
He kept it real, he kept it Protoss, and he all ends.
Yeah, may as well, may as well. It's what Todd did best, basically, as that really wraps things up. I give him more credit. He's pretty good at macro as well. So really good there by Lilbow to actually do as well as he did there. iAsonu kind of a speed bump for him by the looks of things in this group. He's looking for the bigger challenges, the TLOs of this group, who I think, if that game is to come along, could be quite the extravagant one.
Yeah, Lilbow though, really like. Very, very impressive. Definitely showing that he's coming here in his best shape.
Yeah.
And those Frenchies, man, they are here to stay. I can't wait until next season, actually. There's going to be even more Frenchies in WCS. I'm sure Drogo will make it.
Yeah, maybe.
I won't make it. Don't look at me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you're right. They are looking really solid right now. The trifecta of Frenchies here in WCS Season 2 looking strong as Lilbow moves on to the winners game. We're going to take a short break here at the B stream, and when we're back, we're going to have more StarCraft action from the World Championship Series.